Hi, Master Peter Brusso here. In working on my membership site, one of the things I went after was a kind of a miniature case study, if you will. I wanted to know two things: why people started martial arts, and as in the teacher world, what do you get out of teaching? So I'm gonna make a quick video here on my findings. It's really quite interesting. Um, In my case, I think most people know, if not, bullies are like the number one thing, and I was bullied. And so bullies are certainly there. And let me see here. Okay. One of the ones that popped out was peace of mind, the ability to protect yourself against violence. And that's probably true with the bully thing too. Certainly peace of mind. The ability for you to save loved ones was high on the list. Somebody said great power requires great respect, which is another interesting one. To defend yourself, be more confident, protect others, helping others learn to protect themselves. That's more on the teacher side. Give people options to get out of bad situations. Another one was sense of belonging. Of course, to defend yourself, that was another one. One person said re-know themselves. That was an interesting statement because it kind of sort of implies we're going home in a way. I don't know if a lot of you feel about the arts when you finally got there. It's like, wow, where have I been all my life? To protect better, confidence in situations. Us teacher types love to see people grow, but that's another one. One said there was a youth involvement, that they knew people in a youth group that were doing martial arts, so they joined for a social reason, but it turned out to be completely different, which, by the way, I will say this too, over my extensive martial arts career, we all join the martial arts for one thing, but why we stay is completely different. Which, by the way, from a legendary senseihood standpoint, you really ought to understand why people are staying in your school, or how they make the transition from what they started with to what they really want. Interesting stuff. One person said exercise. Another one said self-improvement, which is really good because the skill sets, and we just take it for granted as sensei types, the skill sets that we get from martial arts is kind of one of those things where it's not well defined in the beginning, and we all end up with it. That would be respect, discipline, self-discipline, goals, achieving goals, setting goals, moving out, making stuff happen, protection, feeling more confident, giving ourselves, I mean, there's a laundry list of things in there. Before I go off into the teaching part, I think I mentioned in a couple other videos, I did this 2-hour class from Artemis Defense Institute, and they were talking specifically why children kill children, shooters. And again, one of the big reasons, and I should probably branch off and tell that story, was almost to the person, every school shooter only had one parent in the household, and they were the females taking care of them, not the male. And a lot of people, males in those situations, are craving for a male role model in their life. We're seeing this everywhere now. I mean, this is popping up all over the place. So I had a person bring their son, I think he might have been 10, into the dojo once, and said she wanted me to make him a man. And I told her that, hey, wait a second, that's up to the dad. I'm not going to do that. That's not my job. It's the dad's job. But she says dad wasn't around. I said, okay, I'll make it happen. And that person was really heading for a bad place, but turned out to be a stellar individual. Having been connected with us, he became a sensei type. He went into the Army, went into Iraq, came back out as a hero, and now runs a huge company. He's part of a huge company anyway, management, and he's walked his way, earned his way right up management. Quite the role model. quite frankly. So, I mean, I've seen it myself about these types of problems. Also coming out of that study were girls that are bullied. Now, let me digress so much. A lot of the women who ever came into my dojo had either been raped or attacked by a family member, usually their husband, and it gave me great joy to be able to bring up her skill sets to defend herself and say no more violence in my life. And that's kind of cool. But the women who get bullied end up committing suicide. So I see all of these are problems, no question. I see opportunities for us sensei types to jump in and change the world one student at a time, okay? I mean, that's what we're doing. So let's go on over to teaching. So we all teach, most of us do anyway, but why do we do it? What benefit do we get? One of the things the top one is giving back. We love to share our knowledge with our students. We love to give of ourselves and enrich their lives. But one of the other things that I've always done, a lot of styles don't let color belts teach. They're really restrictive of that. As soon as I get a white belt that is accomplished white belt, go to blue, I throw them right back to teach white belt. And what this does, and I do it at every level, by the way, what it does is they have to know this technique well enough to teach it, which forces them in a public situation that if they don't quite get it all, they're going to go from their ego standpoint that get that and make it happen. So they learn from it. They solidify what you're trying to teach them as cool. Let them fail. Go in and sprinkle in a little fairy dust and improve it, and they go back, and it's a great learning situation for sure. Learning is a great growing tool. One of the things that in our world is we teach people you can learn even under the most severe conditions of environment or attack or whatever. Going to school is a piece of cake. Wow, that's really cool. They like that. They suddenly start to be very, very positive on the mat as well. When you teach, you become very positive, and it's infectious. And gosh almighty, that's really an interesting thing to take people from maybe a negative viewpoint of life to a very positive one. Obviously, self-defense pops up quite often. Wanting to help others, big time. Let's see. Some of the other benefits: do something to protect people. That's cool. Helping society. Make you make you better martial artists and better techniques, obviously from teaching. You get the chance to travel to places too. You're not so afraid to travel anymore. You empower people. That comes up all the time. One of the things from the teacher standpoint, and that's what the membership site's all about, as teachers, we probably teach our art very, very well, but we fail. And it's not your fault, you fail to have more than 5 students because you weren't taught how to grow a dojo. The business side of it, the commercial side of it, and even a home dojo has a commercial side. Now, let me keep going on here. One of these that I interviewed was a traveling executive, and he really worried about in his travel, but as an executive, he can't have a black eye or broken bones and stuff like that. So a word of caution for the sensei type: if you get a physician, say example, in your school, and you're a rough and tumble school, kind of sort of like we're kind of a rough and tumble school, you have to make sure and guard them from getting hurt, black eye. And can you imagine going to your doctor who has a big old black eye? How's he going to explain that? Same thing with out here, we're near Hollywood, so we have celebrities from time to time study with us. You got to be very careful of their outside appearance, so you got to make sure and put your lessons in a way that they can learn without getting damaged. Let me see. Yeah, all right. So that was kind of the big drink of water from what I learned about my adventure of why people start the arts. And I would challenge you to ask your students, why did they start? And then ask them why they stay. They're different. So then you can market why they're staying. You can give them more of that. you can solidify your relationship with them. And the membership site that I'm pushing for all of us to get into to share and see what I'm doing, and I want to share and make you better. I need to get these teaching things into your hands. That's what I really need to do. So this is my case study, and we have an informational page on the membership site, and we also have 2 other small courses in the store that you can go take just to see the quality of what I do. But at any rate, I will see you on the mat.